Hey viewers, welcome to a very interesting and informative episode of Orchid Care. Today we will talk about Cattleya orchids, the vibrantly colorful and diverse family of orchids. Cattleyas are the most colorful among orchids. They come in a variety of sizes and shapes and obviously colors. According to my experience, Cattleya care is somewhere midway between Phalaenopsis and Dendrobium. The Cattleya flowers are very colorful. They come in a very different variety of colors like orange, yellow, white, red, purple, pink, lavender, green, brown, pink, and so on. They are basically epiphytic orchids, means that they grow on trees, while some are known to be lithophytes, that is, they grow on rocks as well. So it is going to be a very interesting and informative video. So let us start. Cattleyas like to stay more on the drier side according to my experience. They need lots of water, but they do not like to sit on a pool of water for a long period of time. They do need lots of water as multiple pseudobulbs grow simultaneously, but they do not like constant moist conditions around the roots. The roots need air around it to evaporate the water that is poured on it. So keep a gap of about 1 week or so according to my weather conditions. This is the time that is required for the Cattleya roots to dry out between two waterings. This is very important for its growth. Cattleyas need high light conditions, just similar to Vanda orchids. You can find out if your Cattleya is getting enough light or not by checking the leaves. If the leaves are somewhat dark green, then understand that your Cattleya is not getting enough light and you need to move it to a more brighter location. If the leaves are fresh light green, then your Cattleya is getting the sufficient light it needs. Less light can hamper your Cattleya growth and it may not bloom at all. After you adjust the light conditions, your Cattleya can still skip blooming a year or two to adjust to the new light conditions. So if your Cattleya is not blooming, which I will address towards the end of the video about this condition, if it is not blooming, check the leaves. Humidity requirement for Cattleya orchids is little less than Vanda orchids. When we water a Cattleya orchid, then the water from the media will evaporate and provide the necessary humidity to the Cattleya orchid. During summer months, the media will dry out faster, so we need to keep a check and water regularly. When humidity goes down very low, you can use a humidity tray. Like any other variety of hybrid orchid, Cattleyas also need fertilizer during their growth period, that is the summer season. They can bloom in spring, summer and winter pretty much all year round. During this growing period as well as the blooming period, they need fertilizers to boost their growth and blooms. They are heavy feeders. To produce those vibrant colorful flowers, they need a heavy dose of fertilizer, though you should not overdose them because it is easy to burn a Cattleya root with overdosing the Cattleya orchid with fertilizers. So use a balanced one, not very less, not very high, so that the perfect requirement is provided to your Cattleya orchids. Cattleyas can be potted in a mixture of bark pieces, charcoal pieces, pebbles and a water retaining media like sphagnum moss. The roots of Cattleya need good air circulation, and that's why bark or charcoal pieces should be used. Now let us talk about some issues that may arise with Cattleya orchids. These are purely from my experience. I'm sure you may relate to them. So first one is repotting while the Cattleya has a spike can make the orchid abandon blooming. I have experienced it, and hence I will not recommend you to repot a Cattleya when it is in spike or it has a spike, because what happens is that it redirects the energy to adjust to the new potting medium, new potting conditions, and hence it will redirect the energy from the blooms to the adjusting part with the new potting medium. Hence it will abandon blooming, and you may lose all the buds and it will not bloom. It may happen that it will not bloom the second or the third year also. It is that vulnerable. So please do not repot your Cattleya orchid, especially when it has a spike or it is in bloom. If it is in bloom and you decide to repot it, the blooms may fade and fall off prematurely even before completing the total blooming cycle of the Cattleya orchid. Because Cattleya orchids are so vibrant and so beautiful and so colorful, I am sure you won't want to fall off the blooms. You may do not want to shorten the blooming period of the blooms, and hence I will suggest that please enjoy the blooms first and then repot it. This happens to me all the time with my vandas, my dendrobiums, phalaenopsis and Cattleyas. My Francis firefox buds were chewed up by some insect last year, but unlike vandas and dendrobiums, Cattleyas do not put out another spike after somehow the previous spike gets damaged. You have seen in my dendrobium care video how a new spike grew after the previous one was eaten up. Vandas also regrow new spike after 2 or 3 months if the previous one is damaged, but this does not happen with Cattleya orchids. Cattleyas refrain from blooming altogether the entire season in this kind of situations. This is a problem I am sure many of you have experienced. There can be variety of reasons. For one of them is less light. As I have said earlier in this video, Cattleyas need very bright light. If they do not receive enough light, they may not bloom. I have a Cattleya which you can see on the screen. It was not receiving enough sunlight and somehow I was ignoring it. This Cattleya has not bloomed even once after I bought it almost 5 years ago. Maybe I have overlooked it, didn't pay much attention to it, and hence I didn't see any blooms till today. So please do check your Cattleya if it is receiving enough light or not. If you see the leaves are very dark green, then it is not receiving enough light, so you need to move it to a more brighter location, and hence then you can expect some blooms from your Cattleya orchids. So to summarize the care for Cattleya orchids, they need everything high. They need high light, they need high quantity of water, they need high humidity to grow well, though they can tolerate lower levels of humidity as well. Very low levels of humidity is also tolerated by Cattleya orchids. They are very vibrant in color. It's very fun to grow them. They do not die easily because they are very tolerant orchids. They can go without water for many days and still they will do well. They will not show any signs of dryness. So have fun with your Cattleya orchids. Do let me know if you like this video. Please give it a like and do subscribe to my channel.